Yo, Desolate. What's up, baby? What is going on, bro? How you doing, man? Yo, Pedro, what's going on, brother? We gotta get this shit going. You like this shit, bro? It's a fly outfit, right? I'm hyped for this, bro. We're ready to rock today, boys. We are rocking today. Yeah, I kind of skipped Kata too, Pedro. I did. I skipped it, but the past like 2 weeks I went pretty hard. And you know, we did our thing. I got a bunch of characters ready and rocking to go. I'll be chilling by this board, bro. Oh, no, 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 no. It's picking up all the shit. We don't want any of this. Nope. Nope. I didn't do any quest stacking, dude. Nothing. Literally nothing. Are you going to be playing Mop, Pedro? Let's get our shit ready. Ready to flop. We're gonna be flopping, boys. Not sure. We'll see how it goes, though. I like it. I like the sound of that. I think it's gonna be good, man. I do. I think it's gonna be a good time. I think it's severely underestimated, you know what I mean? Or maybe overestimated, but I think for the people that want it, bro, I think it's going to be fun. You know? I do. Especially if you got a bunch of 80s. That's easy mode. You're gonna be on at launch, Desolate, or what? No! Why does it do that? What is doing that? What is automatically doing that? Auto quests? We gotta fix that shit. Well, we might die of heat stroke today. Because we're in a fucking panda suit and it's 90 degrees. And I gotta put this fan on higher. Oh, shit. Even the bottom, it's long. This is long pants. Hell yeah, bro. Yo, Bazooka, what's going on, brother? 100% I wasn't going to play, but been watching your videos. You got me kind of hype. Also watched Evan's interview today. Sounds like Blizz is going all out on MOP. Yeah, dude, I think they're going to make it super, super epic. They kind of changed their mindset, you know what I mean? I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be pretty fire, bro. And we're chilling, bro. We're ready to rock. Yo, Desolate. If I delete gear out of my bags, I already have it stored as transmog, correct?
Supply only the finest goods.
I want to make sure before I do it. Because that would suck ass. Equip it?
For the Alliance.
It's just the old Season 2 PvP set that I have mogged on me right now. Maybe I'll just throw it in the bank. Maybe we won't delete it. Just to play it safe. You know what I mean? We could get rid of all this shit. Get rid of that.
See you later.
Oh, but gotta fix our feet, bro. I didn't realize our feet, they're not mogged right. What? Yeah, what the hell is void storage? I have no idea what that even is. Not yet, Caesar. We got, Here, you know what? We'll pull the countdown over to that stream. There we go. That's the countdown. Yeah, I disabled it. I disabled it, Desolate. Alright, we need good boots. Yo, chill out. There we go. We need boots. Oh, those are perfect, actually. Perfect. Now we're ready to rock, bro. Caesar, what's going on? Perry, what's up? Yeah, we're ready to rock, boys. There's a lot of people online. I feel the lag right now. We're not even close yet. It's still over an hour away. We're still over an hour away. But this is where we're gonna get the quest to head over. Yeah, it's not in this, Bazooka. I checked. Yo, Sierra, thank you for the follow. Me too, man. I'm hyped. I am hyped up. Who's that? Mr. Rogue Hiccup, thank you for that follow. Welcome, brother. You know what? There we go. Because there's going to be a puddle in this panda suit. Yeah, most likely going to crash, Rogue. I'm doing well. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. I'm doing pretty good. I'll be doing a little bit better in about an hour and 24 minutes. Oh, you're an artist. Nice, nice. Caesar, you playing mop or what? Holy shit, it's hot. Woo! Bro. Let me see. Oh, we got an itch. We got an itch. We got a little itch. We gotta refill this water before we die. Be right back, guys. Horde Warrior on Faralina. Very nice, brother. I'm going to be Alliance on Benny. I think what we should do, maybe we should, actually, I want to stay logged in just in case we get kicked off. But, let's watch, Eben's interview. see. Okay, here we go. Yo, Han, what's going on, bro? I'm gonna be leveling my Benny Toon first because in this guild that I'm in here, I can actually make the raid times. You know what I mean? But yeah, my main character is gonna be an alt. How you doing, Han? And then if I can just jump in random raids once you guys have everything on farm and shit, maybe I'll do that. You know what I mean? So let's watch Eben's mop interview for anyone who didn't see it. I waited to watch it on stream, so. Let's see. Get that up. Okay. Let's pull it up. Let's mute the sound of WoW real quick. Apparently they're going to be doing some cool stuff with mop, right? So let's see how cool. If we go like that. Yep. And then we do like a one of these type of deals. Theater mode it. Here we go. Perfect. Fits perfect on the screen. Boom. All right. Let's give her a watch.
Hello, I'm Aiden. People know me as Irene. I'm a game designer on World of Warcraft Classic, and I work on systems. For us on the system side of things, it's really class, PvE, PvP, reputations, things like that. It's essentially everything for us except for quests and encounters.
And hey, everybody, I'm Clay Stone, Associate Production Director on WoW Classic. I guide the production efforts of the team and also the overall roadmap and where we're heading on all the amazing things on the Classic WoW front. Very excited to be talking about Mists of Pandaria Classic with you today.
Absolutely. So I know we don't have much time, so I'm going to dive right into the very first question, which is Mists of Pandaria Classic has a lot of changes compared to previous Classic experiences. What was the reasoning behind pushing for so many changes in Mists of Pandaria Classic compared to, say, previous expansions?
So I like to use a little bit of an analogy here where there's been studies where if you go into an airplane and you eat the same food, it's going to taste different, right? You're at a different altitude, taste buds adjust a little bit. When people say like their favorite flavor of a classic is vanilla or favorite flavor of World of Warcraft is vanilla, we're trying to make that vanilla or that, I guess in this case, Mists of Pandaria taste the same, but in a different environment. So people are older, people have played, the original Mists of Pandaria, they might have, different recollections of it. What we want to do is we're trying to get the feeling of original Mists of Pandaria back, and we know around our current players that they're going to taste things a little differently. So they might need a little extra spice. They might need some salt or some sugar in there to make it taste the same, but in a different environment. So that's really what we're trying to do here is give the authentic Mists of Pandaria experience that you can get in this context of this is Classic, we're playing on the final balance patch, and you're starting from the beginning. So Classic in and of itself is essentially never an exact retelling of things because we haven't done progressive servers like that. We want to give you this experience with all of the tuned up systems, all of the things they eventually came to as designers and developers back in the day of what a system should look like, and give you that from the start and try to polish that. So Mists of Pandaria, we felt was a really great opportunity for diving in on something where people really was regarded for its PvP and PvE class design. So from a system side of things, we were like, this is a great opportunity to look at this thing that's really crafted in a way that people adore. And if there are some edges to it that maybe there's some Mandela effect of this was remembered a little bit differently in class balance, we can actually shore that up and now be like, okay, well, all healers are playable. All tanks are playable. All DPS.
Yo, the Desolate. So I didn't play much Kata, but the amount of changes and shit that they've made in MoP is massive compared to, like, did they do any changes like this in Kata at all throughout the whole thing? Like any kind of class balancing, or was it identical to how it was in final patch of the original, bro?
Should be playable. And we feel like that comes off better to our contemporary player base in 2025.
There's so much, we're so fortunate that the base of Mists of Pandaria is so beloved as it is. And as Aiden mentioned, typically with these, we start from that final patch and then work backwards to.
So this is the first time they've done it. That's what I thought too, and that's why I think this is so much more hype than Kata, in my opinion. Like, everyone seems to be really extremely amped up about this, and I feel like that's part of the reason, to be honest, bro. I think it is. Like, playing a different version, like Mop is still Mop, but you're playing a different version with changes and shit is going to be sick.
Bring it into a state that it's like players remember it. But the base is so solid, and we have this wonderful ability to be able to look back at the original expansion and discuss with the original creators who are still here at Blizzard what they felt hit the mark, what their intentions were behind everything, and how well they felt it played out. And then from there, in conversation with the community, brings what we think are some really well-considered quality of life and systems changes, and also systems additions, thanks to Aiden and the team, that, you know, really contribute to a sense of, hey, if we're going to bring back Mists of Pandaria, we're going to bring back one of the most beloved expansions. Let's make it the best version of Mists of Pandaria that we could bring to players. And that's what I hope we've accomplished. I believe we've accomplished with Mists of Pandaria Classic.
I've been having a blast in the pre-patch so far, so I do believe you guys have done an amazing job on that front. So the next question I actually have is, I've asked this in my previous interviews as well, is a lot of people didn't expect us to get all the way from Classic 2019 to Mists of Pandaria when Classic first got announced. And people are wondering, how long will the original Classic pipeline go on for? Because we went from Classic, TBC, Wrath, Kata, Mop. Do you guys foresee this being the final experience, or do you see it keep on going onwards?
Yeah, it's a great question, and honestly, something that we think about a lot internally, as I'm sure comes as no surprise. You know, when we started on this journey with Classic, initially,
100%,
we didn't
Nate.
think it was going to go beyond just the vanilla version. It was like, hey, let's bring the vanilla version, hashtag no changes, you know, perfectly imperfect game, and that was going to be it. And obviously, the response far exceeded our expectations, and that was true even in the most recent Classic Fresh, the Classic Anniversary release in November, with a couple of changes that far exceeded our expectations as well. But as we've continued on this journey and we keep looking to what's ahead, we really look to the community to know what they want. And obviously, there's a lot of opinions out there in the community, but even moving from something like Wrath of the Lich King into Cataclysm, we were really listening to the community. We were looking at the content. We were understanding their perspective of it. We were understanding, hey, is this a worthwhile expansion for us to bring back to players? Is this something that they're going to want? And the answer proved to be yes. And what I was really excited about was how, upon re-examination, as players progress through that content, their opinions or their perspective on some of that content actually changed. It turns out that Dragon Soul, basically being the focus of content for as long as it was, provided some negative opinions about that when the content itself is actually very strong. And so we've continued from there, and obviously, you know, getting into Cataclysm and looking at Mists of Pandaria and just knowing how strong it is as an expansion, as a baseline, and truly believing we could deliver something spectacular for players.
Yeah, Nate, super
convinced
dodgy.
us that was the right way to go. I think that as we look to the future and we decide what we're doing next or where we're going to go next, a lot of that plays into it. Whatever the thing is that we deliver next, can we make sure that it is truly worthwhile the players' time, and it's something that they're really going to enjoy. But I can also confidently say, sitting here today, that we are very focused on delivering a phenomenal Mists of Pandaria Classic expansion to players. That is core. That is where the bulk of the team's efforts are going to at this very moment, and we can't believe that launch is just right around the corner on Monday.
Yeah, so that's I kind of already I figured that much, that everyone on that dev team. I'm on Benediction Alliance as my main, and then Mancrick Horde for alts, Nate. I figured that because you know what? Everyone thinks or thought that currently right now they're working on Classic Plus, but I was like, there's no way, man, because if you guys think back to when we were in SOD, right? We were in phase 3, I think it was. Phase 3 of SOD. And that is when Kata launched. And the reason why we were stuck in phase 3 for so damn long was because Kata launched. Like, people think that they're just like copying back in the day and then re-releasing this like there's no work involved. It's absolutely not true. We're on different clients now. Everything is completely different. So it does take a lot of work for them to like reproduce this stuff. And especially with MOP, like they're making so many changes. It's essentially MOP plus. Like it's a different MOP. It's like it's the same MOP, but it's a different MOP at the same time. So I had a feeling that the entire team is just straight up working on that. We aren't worried about them not working on MOP now. We are worried about halfway through they're going to drop MOP to work on SOD 2. Maybe. It really, I don't know. It seems like they're really hyper-focused on MOP. I don't know, though. We'll see, right? We got Warcraft Direct in what, like September, October? If they announce some shit for Classic, something new, yeah, maybe maybe that's going to be the problem, right? But I don't know. I have a good feeling about it. I think MOP is actually going to be probably one of the best experiences, in my opinion, since we did TBC Classic. But I could be wrong. But let's continue watching. Oh, we got
With
an
the
ad,
Amex
bro?
Gold
Come
card,
on.
every meal.
Jesus. There we go. Okay.
Very well
Perfect.
said. Like a lot of people have been talking about Warlords of Draenor Classic, but depending on
Patrick,
how
thank you
MOP
for the
goes, that
follow.
could be interesting to see as well. So then the next question I have is, in the same vein, a lot of people wouldn't call Mr. Pandaria Classic, but we saw that with Cataclysm, a lot of people did consider that Classic because that's when they first started playing the game. Would you guys consider Mr. Pandaria to be a Classic expansion, or do you think it's where the line between modern retail and Classic first blurred and began? Like, would you guys call it a Classic experience, despite how fun and good of an expansion it was and is right now?
So I think that this is a little bit of a debate that I'm probably on a weird side of, because I really just consider Classic a version of a game where people have fond memories of it and nostalgia. And I think that Mr. Pandaria still falls under that category. Not saying that the systems didn't change to a point where it might be closer to, mainline or retail than it is to vanilla. Not saying that. I'm saying that I usually consider Classic as the feelings behind it, the memories behind it, or the way that people interact with each other socially is really what makes Classic to me.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with him, dude. Like literally, people make the argument that Classic, these aren't Classic versions of WoW because they're not the original trilogy. But I think Classic is like different to everybody. Classic is just kind of like a remastered relaunch of that version of the game, right? Essentially, we could have fucking Shadowlands Classic in like 2 years. You know what I mean? 3 years maybe. It's possible. I probably wouldn't play it, even if I got paid to play it. I don't think I'd play it. But I agree with what he's saying. Like, Classic
the
doesn't
systems,
necessarily
in my
mean
opinion,
the original trilogy.
They might be right in between, right in that middle area. And I think a lot of players focus on the systems, as this now gameplay-wise feels more like mainline than it does for vanilla or vice versa. But I do really feel like this still feels like a nostalgic experience to me and to a lot of players. So I still feel like this is a Classic game.
Very well put. So the next one is, this is something I've seen a lot online, is that people think going from an expansion to the next one is as simple as just pushing a button. Launch Mr. Pandaria, launch Cataclysm. Can you walk us through a bit of the back end on what, say, moving from Cataclysm to Mr. Pandaria is like? Because I don't think it's just hitting a button, launch expansion.
Yeah, absolutely. And you are correct on that. There is something, I don't want to get too technical, but there is something called the data conversion process. And we actually talked about it in the BlizzCon talk back in, it's either 2017 or 2018. But it is this enormous effort by our Classic engineers to take all of the original data as it existed in 5.4.8 in this case, and put it through a very lengthy, months-long process to repurpose it and make it workable and runnable on a more modern code base. And then even after all of that's done, then we essentially open this box and we're able to see, okay, here's where we're starting from. And most of the time, it's not anything near anything that we would ship. It requires then months and months of work on top of that to rework the game and rebuild the game into a state not only where it's playable, but where we want it to be from the start. of the expansion. The great news is that also gives us a lot of opportunity at that point to decide, okay, well, where do we want to make changes? Because by that point, it's able to work with our tools that we use once we've gone through this whole conversion process. And then, of course, after that, we decide what kind of changes we want to make, any feature additions that we want to do. We then work through a really, intensive development process to get it ready for players. And then, of course, start announcing some of those things, get it ready for a beta, and then run through a very intense PTR and beta period of time where players are able to jump in into the content in either a pre-patch state or a launch state, provide feedback, and we're able to make adjustments from there. But just something like the Veil of Eternal Blossoms. We are so proud that we're able to bring back the Veil of Eternal Blossoms for the first time since it was originally introduced in its original incarnation. Because as folks know, the only version of it that currently exists in the modern game is the final destroyed state from Siege of Orgrimmar. And we've actually brought it back to its original pristine state for the start of Mists of Pandaria Classic. That required almost like an additional few mini versions of this data conversion process, because we had to convert the data from each of the separate patches to then put it back into its original state and allow it to be able to progress over the life of the expansion. So
that's cool.
I'm just very excited. One of the things I'm most excited for is to be able to go revisit the Veil back as it originally existed and see it progress throughout the expansion.
That's kind of cool. See, but I'm surprised it takes that much effort. Like, I know as developers it takes a lot more time, but that much effort was kind of surprising. But I do want to move on to the next question, which is Season Discovery gave a level 85 boost for people to make a Mists of Pandaria character after the final phase of SOD. What made you guys have to go with that instead of, say, a classic anniversary boost? Why send?
Ooh, this is a good question, Eben. I love that you asked this question, bro. People have been dude. I've gotten like 100 comments a day since that was a thing. Like, it's kind of died down now, but I got like 100 comments a day of people so mad that they gave the boost for people to play MOP, but they didn't give the boost for anniversary players. So let's see what they say.
I'm curious. The Mists of Pandaria instead of, say, anniversary.
To us, it really just made sense. I think anniversary is a little less open to the idea of having a boost, and we're receptive to that. We're like, a lot of people just rolled on anniversary to have that organic experience from the beginning. Not to say it's not something that, like, when TBC comes out for anniversary in the progression realms, we'll be like, okay, maybe we'll have something there. But
there it is, confirmed. We knew it. I knew it. I knew there was going to be a boost for TBC. But here's the question: is it going to be another Dark Portal pass that we have to buy, or are they going to tie it into like MOP? Or something like that, or tie it into anniversary somehow? I think if they go the route of tying it into like a current version, that would be sick. I really do. I think that if that's the route that they went and didn't do the Dark Portal Pass, people would be very, very, they would receive that in a super positive way.
It felt like we hadn't offered a boost in vanilla to that point, and we really felt more like we should get people to, if they want to, they get to Mists of Pandaria, which to some degree had some inspiration on Season of Discovery and the class design there and the way that things shook out. So we felt it was pretty close in that regard as well. So it was almost like, you like this, you might like this too. So
yeah, come on with the ads, bro.
I think that's a big part of it too. Plus, there's nothing quite like jumping in right from the start of something. And as opposed to where, our classic anniversary realms are great. Again, they are far exceeding our expectations, which is wonderful. But they're in the AQ phase at this point, and suddenly taking a whole player base and telling them shift into there just doesn't feel as natural as something like, as Aiden said, moving them into or allowing them the opportunity to try out Mists of Pandaria Classic, which again inspired some of the class changes that we brought to Season of Discovery as well.
So then moving on to the SOD ending, SOD had a lot of inspiration from Mists of Pandaria. A lot of people saw the abilities, the class balance changes and things like that. Is Season of Discovery, is MOP like the continuation of SOD in you guys' opinion, or is MOP like a side project where SOD was its own separate thing? Or would you guys consider SOD to be part of the pipeline to classic progression?
Yeah, that's a good question. When it comes to Season of Discovery, it has been a phenomenal opportunity for us to experiment with a whole bunch of things in the classic vanilla space and try things out. I think that similar to what we just mentioned, asking those players to then go back to a less changes version and go into Anniversary didn't feel super natural. And again, allowing them or giving them a great opportunity to jump in right from the start of MOP. Particularly for any of those players who are extremely enthusiastic, let's say about Vanilla, TBC, and Wrath, but maybe haven't experienced much of Cataclysm, or in this case, Missa Pandaria. You know, it's amazing.
Yeah. I'm maining my main's Alliance on Benediction, Jamie. And then I have an alt on Mankrick to mess around with Scotty and his guild when we link up later on.
Again, going back and re-examining these expansions, just how much time can change your perspective of something or the flavor of something, as Aiden hinted at in his analogy, that just encouraging those players to be able to do that, we think is a great opportunity. When we think of Season of Discovery, the wonderful part about it is we have no plans on shutting down those realms. We want players to be able to continue to play their characters, and we're continuing to support those realms. We did mention that we are winding down on the new content development for them, but they will continue to exist.
That does make sense. And this is like a side tangent on SOD as a question.
Medina,
what was the chances we did get a Phase 9? Did you guys get very far in the development process, or was it very much a Phase 8 and then that was it? We knew that was ending right there.
Yeah, it's a good question as well. I mean, I can say that when we were heading in to that final phase, we knew internally that was going to be a big phase for us, and that was going to be an amazing sort of capstone to this whole journey that we've been on for all these months. And I think we mentioned it maybe in one of our videos, but we actually increased the size of that final phase.
Yeah, I gotta say, Mega, Eben is asking some good questions in here, bro. He did a good one. These are some banger questions. He's kind of putting the devs on the spot. I respect it big time.
We, got into Cares and Crypts, and we saw that phenomenal response to that. It's like, hey, let's go even bigger. Let's really push ourselves. So I don't think we got much further beyond that as far as any general discussions about what something would look like beyond that. Although I will say we certainly had plenty of ideas of additional things that we could do or could have done or could potentially do one day in that space that we may be holding on to for the future. But as far as actual development being done for it, we were pretty much focused on that being the final phase.
That makes perfect sense. So this is about Mr.
Rose was just advertising like a graphic business or something. Yeah, fighter, Nate. Fighter.
Pandaria. What is the current estimated length for Mr. Pandaria Classic? We know Vanilla was rather long, but Cataclysm was about 15 months. How long do you expect Mr. Pandaria to really be on that time scale? Will it be 15 months? Will it be 18? Do you guys have like a roadmap in mind for how long you guys plan on dragging Mr. Pandaria out for?
Yeah, another good question. When we think about each of these classic expansions, we've had the phenomenal opportunity to be able to move faster than the original team did and the original games did. And I think that's been true of each of our expansions, if not entirely one-to-one, then certainly a little bit faster. Cataclysm probably being the biggest outlier of them all in terms of us moving quickly through that content. When it comes to Missa Pandaria Classic, we actually think that one of the best parts of the original Missa Pandaria was its content pacing. We think that the original team nailed it, and I think a lot of players would agree with us that the
original content pacing for MOP is peak. It's perfect. I mean, if we get into WAD though, that's where we'll have to have some changes, right?
Content was very well paced as far as when the patches came out in relation to each other, including the non-raid tier patches that happened between the start and Throne of Thunder and Siege of Orgrimmar, just to continuously provide great content to players. So much so to the point that I don't think there is any chance we could move any faster than that original team did. We might be able to find ways, but I think we'd want to be really careful about it and about overloading players with too much to do or moving too quickly.
If you think it might rain later,
Damn it.
then all you
These ads, bro. They're getting me every time.
Like Cataclysm Classic, we did experiment a little bit in there about making some even more interesting pacing changes that we hadn't experimented with before. We brought the Molten Front in early into that before Firelands was released, and I thought that was very successful. I thought that provided a nice bridge or to the Firelands content. It's tough for me to think of any one-off opportunities for us to be able to do that for Mississippi.
It wasn't, though. It wasn't, Nate. WoD wasn't awful. The pacing was awful. The drought was awful. But if mod on a sped up release schedule, bro, would actually slap. I swear. Trust me on that. Looking forward to going back to the Isle of Thunder and doing the Throne of Thunder again. It was so much fun. Yeah, man. This is going to be a good time, bro. I know, Nate. I know. That's I'm waiting for a bad one to pop up, and then I'm fucking ousted right there, huh? I'm waiting.
So I guess just going back to your original question, as far as the way that the content will roll out and the way that the phases will roll out, I think that we are very much starting from the standpoint of what the original team did and how and when those phases came out in relation to each other.
Well, that's good to hear. So long as they don't have a 13-month Siege of Orgrimmar, the rest of MoF's pacing was rather phenomenal. This next question is about, like, what is the team most excited about Mr. Pandaria Classic and what it adds to the Classic ecosystem? Like, what's the biggest change you guys did that's like, this is it. This is what makes MoF Classic a better experience than it would have been by default?
So, honestly, there's actually so many things here, and I think the one that I would want to focus on is the alt friendliness that's been inserted into it, the rolling valor cap, the rolling conquest cap, the rolling elder charms of good fortune cap. We're allowing people to transfer August celestial stones or the August stone fragments from the dungeon, the currency from celestials, to their alts, get them lesser charms of good fortune.
Yeah, this stuff that he's saying, bro, is huge. Like, these changes, this stuff is the reason why I actually decided I was gonna play MoP and I started playing the pre-patch, because before all of this, bro, I was like, I don't know, MoP is really grindy with dailies and all this other shit. But then they started making all these changes, and I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna be a good time. You know what I mean? Yeah, we're all dads now and have lives. Exactly, bro. I'm a dad. Yeah, sitting here in a panda suit, Monday at 5 p.m. and 90 degrees, sweating my ass off.
We're essentially allowing you to have as much alt friendliness as we possibly can. Without making it that you're only playing your main to do that.
Pretty
so
unique
we
dad,
really
that's
want
for
people
sure.
in this day and age to be able to experience multiple characters if they want to. And the original Mists of Pandaria felt like it had some mechanics that were almost anti-late, where if you showed up late, you can't really catch up in Conquest, you can't really catch up in Valor. So we wanted to introduce ways so that we weren't punishing players for not hopping in right away.
Gosh, that was great. I can add, we could talk about this the entire time. Unfortunately, I mean, there's the other examples of the alt friendliness, like allowing alts to fly right from the start as soon as your main reaches max level. The PvP changes that we made, allowing Gladiator and Rank 1 titles back in 2v2s and 5v5s. Updating the reward recipient amounts for PvP seasons, capping PvE gear when you enter instance PvP content. All the work that Aiden and the team did on attacking pre-pull shenanigans and stuff. I mean, there's really a lot to be excited about when it comes to the changes that we've been able to make in partnership with the community for Mists of Pandaria Classic.
The alt friendliness is something that I'm looking forward to myself, because I want to try out a bunch of.
I'm good, Razor. You wanted to call me Poe? Dude, you could call me Poe for the rest of the day. I'll be Poe today. I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you?
Different classes now that the meta's shifted. So this next question is, you guys added a bunch of really cool things like the alt friendliness. Was there something you guys wanted to add to the game, but just couldn't fit into the development cycle? Like, is there something you wish you had more time that you could have added into Mr. Pandaria Classic?
Jesus, dude. How many ads am I getting here? Eben, what the hell are you doing, bro? You're killing me.
I do. So I want to preface this a little bit by saying, like, I think that one of the reasons that we didn't do this is because we want to do it right if we were going to do it, and that's finish Dark Apotheosis. The Warlock tanking spec, it was not completed in original Mists of Pandaria, and it felt like it was just right out of reach of what we were comfortable with, because we could do it where we just make the taunt work on bosses and like insert a few things here or there, but it really felt like to do it right, we would have to introduce a fourth Warlock spec with a fourth selection, add all of that backend that is involved in having a tank selection there. Because having a DPS be able to queue as a tank is like a completely different thing too. So in Mists of Pandaria, it really is like whatever spec you have, you're locked into. This is a damage spec. This is a healing spec. This is a tank one. And the game does a lot of that for you. So we really wanted to, if we were going to tackle Dark Apotheosis, do it in a way that felt right for players and felt like we weren't just doing it halfway. Because I think we got a little bit of that in Season of Discovery when we touched things like Shockedin, and we didn't really have the way to do it right at the time. And we felt like doing it halfway for our players just created almost as many problems as actually solve or not touching it at all. So here we're like, we're going to bide our time. We're going to think about it. We're going to look at it. And Dark Apotheosis is just right outside of where we're comfortable with working with right now, because we want it to be good if we do touch it.
That this is a slight question, like a quick answer. How close was Warlock tank to be finished in Mr. Pandaria? Like, how much work was left?
Are you asking like a day estimate or like a
Like, just in regards, how much did the original devs get done?
So there are things that exist, like I believe there is a Vengeance that is spell power that is in the files and does work like the original Vengeance, and I believe it was on the Siege of Orgrimmar beta for a little bit of time, but then it just wasn't finished, and it got pulled. So there are small things like that that are like scattered here and there, but it looks like it had a few more leaps to go. And like I was saying, I think one of the other complications was, how do you get this to actually be able to queue as a tank or be considered a tank when you are in Dark Apotheosis, aside from doing like things in Cataclysm or before there where you have to script everything to be like, treat this person specifically if they have this buff as a tank. Don't treat them as a DPS. So that, I think they were a bit of a ways off. I would say if they had actually dedicated like resources to it, it would have taken maybe 2 phases or a phase more to really get it to a place where they felt comfortable with it. But yeah, it looks like it's almost there, but it's, like I said, just right out of the comfort zone for us.
That does make sense. So I only have time for 2 more questions left. The first one I'm going to ask is, have you guys got anything you'd like to share that I haven't asked about?
It's a great question. I mean, just in general, something I'm excited about that we haven't spent too much time talking about are just the extensive class changes and class balancing that the team has done. Just going a little bit more into it, the way that the class has changed over the life of Mists of Pandaria was substantial. I mean, phase to phase and fairly often, to the point that when we looked at that 5.4.8 patch, some of the classes in 5.4.8, because the original team developed 5.4.8 in such close proximity to the very first Warlords of Draenor patch, they actually left some of the classes in a slightly unfinished state and then didn't quite make those changes until the very beginning of Warlords of Draenor, again, because they were so close to it. But it meant that for us, if we had left everything in that 5.4.8 state, some of the classes definitely would have felt unsatisfied or unsatisfying to play, and we really want there to be no bad choice. We want every class to feel fun through the life of the expansion. So
yeah, that's the big thing with me with MoP that I noticed throughout the pre-patch now is that pretty much you can play whatever the hell you want, man. Like literally whatever you want, and it seems like every class is viable in some way. Like there is nothing where it's like, oh, I want to play this, and people are gonna be like, no, that's terrible, you can't come. You know what I mean? Like it feels good that they're kind of making everything viable. It's kind of, you know, bring the player, not the class.
That we did things like buff warlocks at the very beginning of MoP Classic because they know what warlocks play like at the very end. But shaking up that meta, I hope that we've given an indication of our commitment to continue to monitor these classes over the life of the expansion. And we have already gotten way far in advance knowledge of what we plan to do for some of these classes as the phases continue to really continue to keep them in a great spot throughout the life of Mists of Pandaria Classic. I'm very excited for that. There's a whole bunch of classes that I want to try as a result.
The same. I'm there on you. So the very last question I have is, I know you guys can't say much about this, but Classic Plus, there's been a lot of teasers, a lot of conversation. Is there any event we can look forward to? Anything you guys can share at all about that?
I love it, dude. Evan had to squeeze it in. He had to squeeze it in. He had to squeeze Classic Plus into this. I love it.
Yeah, I think Season of Discovery was an incredible experience for us. I love how much we learned from it. I love how much we just got to play alongside the community in it throughout that experience. I think that we're always discussing what is on the horizon and where the team's ambitions lie. I think that even though we talk about being a smaller team perhaps, but we have a lot of great partners in the greater World of Warcraft development team that make us feel mighty, and our ambition is mighty. We are super focused on Mists of Pandaria Classic right now and delivering a phenomenal expansion to players throughout the life of it. And we are looking forward to the future and all that's going to come as well.
Well, thank you guys very much for coming on and letting me have this interview. This was amazing. I can't wait to play.
All right, so we got it. We got confirmation that Classic Plus is not currently in existence and not even being worked on. We knew that already, though, right? We knew that. We knew that. How much time do we got left here? 40 minutes, dude. What's going on here? I'm getting bored. I want to go to the Jade Forest, man. I want to pump. I'm ready to rock. Let's go. You know what? We're going to list all this Ember Silk, too. We don't need this crap. We do not need this crap. You know what, though? I don't, like... That was a really good interview. Evan did a really good job. He asked a lot of hard questions to ask. You know, like, he really kind of stuck it to them. And that's good. You know what I mean? In like, a friendly way. He didn't, nothing terrible. So I think it was pretty good. What'd you guys think? Let's get rid of this here. Man, once we take the YouTube stream down, we'll be blasting some music and hanging out. Let's see. We're gonna put this stuff in the bank, dude. It's so laggy right now. Everything is like delayed. Everything's super laggy. All right, we got a big ass bank too. So anything we don't need, let's get rid of these. We're not using these, right? We don't want those. We'll grab a couple of Tinker kits. We'll get rid of this. That will keep, I guess. Dark Moon Fair ticket, sure. We don't need that. We'll keep it on us. We got gems. Maybe we grab some orange gems, right? We'll grab another Tinker kit. We're going to have everything we need ready before we head out. That's the goal. So let's grab that. What's my orange gem? Reckless Ember. Reckless Ember Topaz. Okay. We'll grab like 8 of those just to have them. No, not 18. Jesus. No, we don't even want that many. I'll take 4. Okay. That's good. That's good. We got that. Perfect. And let's go grab some Tinker kits. Out here.
Pleased to meet you.
Honored, I'm sure.
Six
All
is
right.
good. Oh shit. Oh shit. Let's go, bro.
These are the finest goods
Tell
in the
me of
land.
your travels.
Please, browse my wares.
Like that.
Next on me.
So I'm assuming, yeah, we get the quest at the board, right? When the time comes. I'm pretty sure. So we'll be hanging out there. You know what though? We'll stay over here for now because it's a little laggy over there. I noticed that that's a lot less laggy over here. Let's grab our. Oh, there's a board over here, bro. Look at this. This is perfect. It really depends how hardcore you're planning on playing, Jamie. Like if you're trying to be like a parse lord, yes, it makes sense. In that case, you'd want to go Panda. But if you're not trying to like parse and go super crazy, then it doesn't really matter. Yo, look at this lag, bro. Woo, shit. That's nuts. Yo, Guide MMO, what's going on, bro? Yes, Mob Hype Day, brother. We're in it. We're ready. You're gonna make a lock? Yeah, I mean, Panda is like by far just one of the best racials, the food buff. But thank you, man. I appreciate that. It really all depends. It depends how hardcore you're trying to play. My dog is going ballistic. I'm sorry if you guys could hear that. He should stop in a minute. Yeah, depends how hardcore you're trying to play. You know what I mean? That's really what it comes down to. We're gonna sit up here, bro. Like, are you in a guild already, Jamie? Like, how hardcore do you normally raid and stuff? If you're not like a super hardcore raider, I wouldn't think too much about it, too much into it. You know? You raid pretty sweaty? Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna play that way in MoP 2, go Panda. Like, everything it has its own, like, best race, but Panda, like, all around is one of the best. Just all around. Just from the food buff benefit that you get. You know, Panda, and then you're going lock, so you're gonna want to go, like, tailoring, engineering. Then you'll be set if you're trying to go super sweaty. We're gonna be going Shadow Priest first. That's what we're doing. We're doing Shadow Priest first. Also, anyone who's here on YouTube, on the YouTube stream, please jump over to my Kick and drop us a follow over there. There's gonna come a point, I think shortly after MoP launches, where we are going to shut down the YouTube stream because we are not allowed to play music or anything, so we're gonna be partying it up pretty much all night. So definitely head over to Kick and drop a follow on there and tune in there. You also that's so that I'm still gonna be live basically. Once you guys think I'm gone, I'm not gonna be. I'm gonna be live still over there. Methodic, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it, brother. Yeah, don't miss out, guys. We're gonna most likely shortly after MoP launches or right around when it's going to launch, we are gonna be shutting down the YouTube stream and going full force over on Kick. So definitely go follow over there. So it should be pretty good. Meg, are you still in the chat on Kick? Oh, cool, Jamie. Thank you. Yeah, everyone else on YouTube, drop a follow on there. Tune into there if you don't want to miss the stream after we take YouTube down a little bit. I'm gonna take a short bio, guys. I have to take this whole suit off to take a leak, so it's kind of a process. I might be AFK for like 5 to 10 minutes. I stopped playing WoW right before Kata back in the day and only started to play again at the end of last year, so I'm gonna go Panda Monk because I never had. Yes, dude, hell yeah, Zlane, I like that. I like that, brother. That's a good one. That's a good choice. But yeah, guys, I'm going to take a quick bio. Like I said, the whole panda suit has to come off for me to just take a leak. So I am going to probably be gone about 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. All right. So just sit tight, grab a drink, stretch your legs. We got 35 minutes left here. So I'll be right back, guys. back. What's going on, Shane? Okay, so yeah, we don't know how much longer we're gonna be able to rock this thing. That was a process to pee, bro. A process. Let me tell you. Not an easy one either. What else do we got to watch? We could watch the trailer. I know the trailer came out, right? I didn't see that. Let's see. Mop Classic trailer. Let's get hyped up. Launched 4 hours ago. Whoa! Holy Christ. Right. Boom. There we go. Let's rock it. Let's red rocket. And boom. Boom. Oh, I'm hyped up, boys.
It is written, a true warrior chooses many paths on the scroll of life. Yet, time is the thief that steals our most precious moments. What if we could go back? To live our journeys anew. To explore Pandaria again. But as we are now.
Oh, shit.
Many are the paths written on the scroll of life. Which will you now choose?
Dude. Oh, man. That's hype. That definitely just got me a little hyped up, I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty hyped. We need this to speed up. We got 27 minutes left. 27, guys. What are we gonna do for 27 minutes? We do a BG while we wait? Man, I really want to play some music, bro. All right. I think the time has come, everybody. All right, so everyone who's here in the stream, if you're here on YouTube, Mikey, what's going on, bro? I didn't see you there. I'm going to take the YouTube stream down. We're going to continue the stream over on Kick. So that we could blast some music. YouTube doesn't let us play music. So if you're in the YouTube stream, head over to Kick, drop a follow. We're going to be streaming pretty much all night. So I love you all, and I hope that you join us over there. If not, it was fun, and I look forward to seeing you guys in MOP. All right, YouTube. Head over to Kick right now.